Hi, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of HitaTalk Season 4. I am rocking this season, in my opinion, with even more Wonder Women of the Twin Cities. And like I have said in previous episodes, this is all about the Twin Cities MomSquad. So mom bosses rocking their mom life and their boss life all together, cheering each other on because squad life. So here today is the amazing, the sweetest Stephanie Sinclair from How to Mom. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I just love talking to you all the time. You're such a joy.
Thank you. I feel the same about you.
Oh, see, this is why we're a pair. You do wonders for your beautiful family. You do wonders for the mom community. We're going to talk about all of it. But before we do any of that, I want to go way back, not like a long time, but just a few years to when Stephanie was a little girl. And
Yeah, just like yesterday.
just a few days ago, maybe a couple years.
Yeah.
What were you like? Where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? Just like the fun basics.
Yeah. So I actually was born and raised in South Minneapolis, city girl at heart. Absolutely loved my upbringing. I had so many amazing friends in the city, and we would just run around the neighborhood and make a lot of memories. I lived with my mom and my stepdad, so very much a blended family with a lot of love and a lot of different branches, which was great. We never had a shortage of love, which I know is a blessing. I went to a couple different schools, both public and private. And I just feel like I still have friends from my upbringing, because you just tend to get really close, especially when you're in the same city growing up. And then also my parents were born and raised in Minneapolis. So the history went long there for my childhood.
Oh my gosh. So what about after grade school, high school? What was that like? Where'd you go?
Yeah, so I actually started college at Augsburg, wanting to stay in the city, which was fun and a great experience. I think, though, there's definitely something to be said about, moving away for college, just because I didn't really get pushed to meet new people. I was like, I already have all my friends in the city.
Yeah.
And so then I went from there to Normandale, just to do generals, kind of figure out what I wanted to do. I always knew I loved the legal field, but I just wasn't quite sure, what route I wanted to take. So I went to Normandale, did my generals there, and then I just needed a change in life. And so I studied abroad in Costa Rica, which was an incredible experience, one that I will never forget. And then from there, I went to Winona State University, and that's where I received my degree in paralegal studies.
Costa Rica, like city, Twin Cities, Costa Rica, like boom, you're just going to go. If you're going to go abroad, you're going to just go. How long did you study abroad for?
Well, I was going through kind of for a semester. So I think we were there about just under 4 months. And, I was going through a hard breakup, and, sometimes we just need to get pushed out of our comfort zone to really grow. And I got to meet some incredible people that, we had to really rely on each other. We were in a different country, and everything that was familiar to us was far away. And so it was just a really incredible experience. And I think it kind of kickstarted my adulthood of like, I needed to get some things together.
Yeah, wow. But that's like preaching to the choir right there. You have to get out of your comfort zone to grow, even if that feels like we're going backwards sometimes. But in this case, you're only moving forward being in Costa Rica. So that's really cool. And then you finished college at Winona with paralegal.
Yep.
Did you stay in that field for a while?
I did, actually, for 10 years. So it was right around that time that I started dating my now husband. So we've been together almost 15 years, married for 10. But I know, so he would, he would come to Winona every once in a while, but I would commute back and forth while I was in college. But no, I loved the legal field. And so I started I actually started as an office manager at Schwabel, Getz and Sieben when I was
That's cool.
like 16 years old. I was like bringing the guys coffee, that was like my job then. And then I started as an intern through obviously my college credits required that. And I stayed at that firm through graduation. And then I was brought on for the head partner's paralegal position right out of college. So that was an amazing experience. I learned so much. I was in personal injury, so I felt like I was helping people, which is definitely something that I love to do, and that's what fills me up. And so I was there until my husband and I moved to Arizona. We were in Arizona for a couple of years so that he could go to college, and he did a complete career change at that time, from working on cars to the golf industry. And that was an amazing 2 years. It was like just the two of us. We got engaged in Arizona. We planned our wedding from Arizona. And I just feel like it really gave us this solid foundation of this partnership. And I was continuing to work in the legal field when we were in Arizona. And then we transitioned back home in 2011 to get married.
Wow. So see, you've moved out of Minneapolis many times since high school. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
When did you guys get married?
So we got married July 9th, 2011. So we'll be celebrating 10 years this July. Our parents helped a ton for planning our wedding because we were in Arizona. And so like, all the errands or checking, out venues and things like that. My parents were super active in planning our wedding. And then we moved home in February. And honestly, it was a true blessing, and God really knew what we needed, because it was in April that my husband's dad passed away.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
So we were able to be home for a couple months, spend time with him, be there with the family. He passed away in April, which of course was just a terribly sad situation. And then a couple months later, although he was obviously greatly missed at our wedding, we had this beautiful, happy celebration when Brian and I got married.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I'm sorry. That was such a rough entry back into Minnesota, but so sweet how things just, timing wise, always work themselves out.
Yeah. And, of course, hard times are never fun to go through as we're, approaching a year with COVID. But I do believe that they truly make relationships stronger. And I don't think if Brian and I wouldn't have gone through that right before our wedding, I don't know, I just feel like the love was deeper. It was stronger when we said our vows, because we had just gone through this terrible loss, and he had lost his father. But I think we felt stronger than ever because of that.
Good. Oh my gosh. You can't have like a lifelong adventure with a partner if you don't have good foundation. And
100%.
That's not to say that like you always have that foundation right off the get-go. I think a lot of people will go through things like this and then come out stronger on the other side of it. So for those with partners, I think these are not fun moments, but at the same time, there's always a silver lining somewhere in that. Okay, so 2020 has been a wild whirlwind. We're not talking a whole bunch about 2020 in this series because we're going to release this not in 2020, but has it been, not even just this year, but in general, knowing that what you do for your family, what you do for your business, and even in your paralegal days, you help a lot of people. Is it hard for you to ask for help, or do you take it in and ask like pretty easily?
I guess I would answer that in two different ways. No, I think in general, it is just difficult for people to not only kind of look internally to say, do I need help right now? But then to go the extra step and ask for help is just a challenge, because when you're in it and your head is down and you're in the thick of it, sometimes asking for help either just doesn't cross your mind, or it doesn't seem possible in the moment. I talk about that a lot with women that are, in the thick of it with labor, that when we watch somebody else's labor, we can pick up on things and see things differently from a different lens. And it's just like that with motherhood. Like, I feel like I can help a lot of moms, but I can't help myself always in those situations, even though I might give great advice to a friend or a client. It's very different when it's you and you're in it. And so I would definitely say, yes, I struggle, because it's just not, there's not a book that says if X happens, you need you need help or you need to
Wouldn't
ask
that
for
be
help.
nice? A guide.
Yeah, it's just not that simple, right? Because there's a lot of emotions involved and there's a lot of dynamics and things like that. But then on the other hand, I do feel like I'm very forward, and that's been sometimes not always the best, but it's also been a blessing in the sense of that I've always felt like I've had the confidence to say, I need help. Can you help me? But to go even a step further, I think what's really, really difficult for moms, and something that I know I've struggled with, and I know that my mom friends have struggled with, is that when we do muster up the energy and the confidence and the guts to ask for help, and it's not given, or it's dismissed, or it's disrespected, or whatever, it really makes that next time really difficult. And it makes that moment when you ask for help and you feel like it's not showing up, or that it's not taken seriously, it really messes with your mind.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why people feel burned or hesitant to ask for help the next time, because they have an expectation when there's a big old vulnerable, emotion put forward. So I like the way you answered that, because yes, I think sometimes, especially as moms or even women, even if people don't have kids, it doesn't even phase us to ask for help. And that can be something like, hey, can you give me a little bit to respond to this email? Or can you help me with this big old thing in life, like run these errands and plan my wedding for me and help me with my birth and whatever that looks like. So
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it just reminds me how important community is, because no matter what we do for our profession or what area we're an expert in, when the camera is turned and it's us, we still need the community. We still need the help, even if it's in that area we feel like we're considered an expert, because it's different when it's you and there's emotions involved.
yeah, it is so different when it's you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so um, when did you realize the paralegal field was no longer serving Stephanie and you wanted to
Yes.
make a change?
Yeah. So like I said, I worked in the field for 10 years, and there was a lot of passion there for years. And I loved what I did for a time. And then when Brian and so we got married in 2011, I was like, let's have a baby. Like, I was so ready I knew I always wanted to work in the legal field, but I also always knew I wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
There was just never a question. I couldn't wait to have kids. And I remember a couple friends, they were like, just wait, be married for a couple of years. And I thought, first of all, Brian and I have been together for 5 years. And second of all, I don't want to wait. I want to have a baby.
Yeah.
So we were excited to start trying right away. And I had some issues in the past, and there was a possibility pregnancy might not come easy for us. And that was in fact the case. And so a year and a couple months after becoming married, we finally, after 3 rounds of fertility IUI treatments, me distracting my mind by applying to law school, because I thought, okay, God, is this not the path for me? Am I supposed to be doing something else? So I thought, well, why don't I distract my mind by going through the process of applying for law school? For law school while still working. I got accepted, and it was within that same time frame that our 3rd round was successful, and we in fact were pregnant.
I just got goosebumps. Oh my
It was
gosh.
it was a surreal experience. People that have been through fertility know kind of the ups and downs and kind of what that all entails. And it was just it was another stepping stone for Brian and I to really support one another and to build more of a foundation. And so I obviously put blood, sweat, tears, money, all of the things into becoming pregnant. And so during my pregnancy, I kept working in the legal field. When we kind of were learning about pregnancy and about birth, and learning that we had these options and that we could decide how we wanted to birth our baby and what we wanted that to look like, I was just really empowered and I was inspired. And I was like, whoa, this is a whole world out there about birth.
Yeah.
So we went through that process. We hired a doula who helped us navigate through not only pregnancy, but like planning what we wanted our birth to look like, thinking of all of the things. And my husband felt like he was such an active participant in the process. It was truly like a team preparing for the birth of this miracle baby.
Yeah.
And so it was through that, and then obviously that experience, that I remembered looking around the room after they put Mackenzie on my chest, and I thought, I want to make other women feel like this, because
Oh,
this feels really good.
oh my gosh. So did you go forward with school or no?
Not right away. So that was definitely like a dream, and it changed my life, obviously becoming a mom in
Yeah.
all of the areas. I was home with Mackenzie. Well, it was supposed to be for 3 months, but while I was on maternity leave, the firm that I was working at, the partnerships split up.
Mm.
And so the firm lost half of the clientele because the other partner took the clients with him. And so I was like dreading going back to work. I just kept feeling like, I want to be home with my baby. I've worked so hard to get here. And I was like almost in a way unhealthy, so obsessed with like motherhood and just like kind of losing my identity in it, but because of my fertility journey and things like that. And so the week before I was set to go back, I was just praying and upset and wanted to know, like, what was life supposed to look like now as a mom? And to me, it didn't feel like a full-time career anymore. They called me. I thought they were going to kind of go over what going back to work was going to look like. And it was in that moment that they laid me off.
Get out of
Which,
here. They laid you off.
yes.
Well, first of all, is that even legal when you're on a maternity leave? Doesn't matter because it was a blessing, a huge blessing in disguise. But was that like your prayer being answered a little bit?
There was definitely like some moments of fear, and I was scared. I was, carrying insurance for the family. We had just bought a house a year before. I had this brand new baby, and I thought, how are we going to make this work financially? But of course, deep down, I was like, I get to stay home with my baby.
3 months is
um,
nothing for new moms. I mean, Europe has it right. They give, a year and a half, even for dads. So 3 months is just treacherous because that's figuring out like how to walk to go to the bathroom those first few weeks and letting your body heal. And as you very well know, all the different like regressions and progressions those first few months, let alone mom is trying to keep a human alive and she starts losing herself. And that can take several years to come out of. Like 3 months?
yeah,
Go on for
we
days.
have a lot to do. State.
Yeah, this country. We won't get into politics on that front, but this case, it worked out for you. So then what happened next?
Yeah. So I just really felt like I was able to just be present and be home. And it was actually even at that time that my husband was working in the golf industry, and he was still at a course. And so he would get laid off in the winter time.
Mm.
So there were like, I think it was maybe a 2-month overlap where we both were home with Mackenzie. It was magical. Yeah, it was a big blessing. And we know that a lot of people don't ever get that experience. And so we were just in it, and we were enjoying our baby and kind of just being present and, getting used to parenthood as new parents. And so that was until the end of 2013. And then starting in 2014, the partner that left the firm while I was on maternity leave called me and said, I started a new firm, and I want you to come work with me and work for me and start this firm up. And so although I was torn because I wanted to stay home, I also knew that I needed to financially contribute to our family. And so I thought, well, this is a new firm. It's small. Maybe it will really align with what I need as a new mom. And so I started there January of 2014, and I worked for just over a year But honestly, my passion was gone. I dreaded going to work. I wanted to be home with Mackenzie. It was a year of kind of like depression, because I just kept saying to myself, there's more to life than this, than feeling like I would wake up in the morning, I would get ready, I'd go to work, I'd come home, I'd give Mackenzie a bath, put her to bed, and then wake up and do it all over again. And I felt like there was no time to just be. And that was like the point where I was just said, enough's enough. Like, I need to make money, but I don't need to live a life that I am not happy in.
I feel like anyone listening can maybe take all of these experiences that you lived 6-7 years ago and maybe see a glimmer of hope coming out of 2020, because again, I think a lot of people were laid off, and anyone that had a baby in March, April, May, June, July, like they were then home with their babies and probably have had to make a career change and maybe had that feeling of this mundane lifestyle is this it? So coming out of 2020, I think we're seeing a lot of creative shifts and moves that weren't there, but like you literally already had these whole experiences several years ago. So maybe you were like a pro by the time you got to this year.
Oh, geez, definitely not that.
Really.
But it felt like even through the twists and turns of 2020 and the hard, I mean, it's definitely been hard, and I've struggled through this year as a mom, as a wife, as an individual, as a business owner. But I do feel like I have always had control over this year, if that makes sense. I didn't feel like I was ever living it for somebody else, or that somebody else was telling me how to respond or how to move forward. I have been lucky enough through this crazy year to be home with my kids and to say, okay, this is what's presented. This is kind of what's happening in the world. We get to make the decisions of what our life looks like now in response to that. And that is something I will never take for granted, because I know that wouldn't have been the case for me 6-7 years ago. And I know that's not the case for a lot of moms today. And it's a really hard place to be.
It's not easy. I mean, especially when you're forced into it. It's different when you have the choice, like, oh, I'm supposed to go back to work next week. Do I go back? And then you get the call. It's like, well, but I wanted to be on my terms, or I wanted to resign versus getting laid off. So
yeah. So even like through the hard, I feel like I've always been able to approach this year with, what does my family need? And then kind of base everything else around that, which, I mean, that's just a true blessing.
And taking care of yourself. I mean, hello, somewhere in the mix, we need to prioritize ourselves, if not put that first, which that's a whole different ball game, asking for help for the community around us to realize, like, I need to just do this for me before I can give to you. Okay, so let's go into How to Mom. How did How to Mom come about? Why is it called How to Mom? And what are you doing with How to Mom? All the things. Tell me all the things.
All the things. It's like How to Mom is my fourth baby, as you know.
You're so good at it too. I just want everyone to like absorb themselves into what you're going to share.
Thank you. So I was with that firm. I ended up actually sitting down with my husband one night, and I said, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And he said, that's great. I would love for you to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, but that's not in the cards for us. I remember him saying that. It's not in the cards for us. As much as we want that to be the situation, it's not in the cards. And I am just the type of person, if I get something in my head, whether it's, I mean, no matter what it is, like I'll figure out a way to make it work. I don't care how much work it takes. I don't care what I'm up against. Like, I am just going to push through until I figure it out. So I actually started my own business in the network marketing world because I needed something to bring to the table financially to say, I need to transition home now so I can be with Mackenzie. So I needed income right out of the gate.
Sure.
And so I started working in network marketing. It was a really, really great experience. It actually gave me a ton of confidence that I feel like I use today within How to Mom. But it was kind of my kickstart into transitioning home from corporate America, being home with Mackenzie full time, but also contributing financially to my household. I also, nobody really clips coupons anymore, but we cut back a lot in order for me to stay home. So there was just no extras. I was saving money wherever I could. I remember I would plan out my grocery trips very strategically because I was bound and determined, even if we didn't have a lot of extra, I was able to be home. And that to me was worth everything. So we just made we made a bunch of adjustments. Brian stayed within the golf industry, but he switched jobs so that he was working full time. He, even in moments where he felt like this might not be the best option or the best choice, he has always supported me and said, let's do it. Let's make it work. And so it was probably about a year of kind of like hustling in the network marketing industry to kind of bring the income into the household. But it was during that same time that not only was I with Mackenzie full time now, but I went through training to become a birth doula. I thought, well, that's another way that I can make money. And it was something I always wanted to do. At the time, did I know it would be this like forever career in this business that I built? Probably not. I think I was just like, I want to try it. I want to see if this is for me.
Okay.
And so I went through training in April of 2015, and I was honestly just lucky enough to start serving families right away. I was on call during my weekend training.
Oh my goodness. I mean, there probably was such a need. And I don't remember, I mean, I wasn't a mom in 2015 quite yet. I was pregnant, but I don't remember a whole lot of like doula conversations being had, although I was new and oblivious to everything. But there's such a higher demand now.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's talking about it a lot more. There's a lot more education surrounding doula care and support. And so we've come a long way even in 5 years, but I just kind of put myself out there right away with family and friends and said, this is what I want to do. This is how I think I can help in your experience and planning for your birth. And so I just literally started, I was like, oh, you're going to have a baby? Do you want a doula? Oh, can I attend you? Like, I was just out there and I was like, I want all the experience and I wanted to attend as many births as I could right away. And I loved it. And I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so it was at that time that I was, of course, trying to create a website and a name for my business because I knew this is the route I was going to go. And I was actually in the car with Allison Crandall, who I know you know, and Bethany, who was another girlfriend of mine and who I worked with within the network marketing world. And she was like, well, what do you want? What do you want for your brand? And I said, well, for me, I knew I didn't want it to just be doula care, which of course is a huge part of How to Mom and where our businesses are. But I was like, I want to help all moms. I felt like motherhood was so overwhelming that I wanted one place to go to learn how to feed my baby, how to bathe my baby, how to make sure I had great products for my baby, how to. And she said, well, you're How to Mom.
Boom.
In the car. And my only hesitation was I didn't want people to think that I was claiming to be an expert and knew how to do all of these things, but rather that we were going to talk about how to do all things motherhood.
See, and no one, I don't think, well, there are people out there, will go to a source and think they are the best of the best of the best of the best, and they know all the answers in the world because no one person knows the answers to every single thing. So when there is a how-to, I mean, how clear is that? And yes, you do talk about a bajillion different topics. And don't those ideas like just come naturally in the shower or in the car?
I always say I wish I had my phone in the shower or when
Yes.
I'm laying down to go to bed, because that's when like the mind just goes crazy.
Yeah, I will throw on voice memo mode when I'm driving or like open the notes and just start like talking. And then I don't know what, it does not make sense when I like read it many, many days later, but you need those ideas come to you. So, okay, so you're in the car, How to Mom literally is birthed, like the name of it.
It is birth while we're in the car driving home. I think we were in St. Cloud for a pageant, actually.
Aww.
We were supporting a girlfriend, and yeah, Bethany, she definitely helped me catapult my brand forward. She gave the idea of using obviously the number 2. She created my first logo. I was like, I want to go bright, I want to be loud, and it was like neon orange and bright pink, and I had my first website on Wix, and all of the like startup ways to go with business. And so I ran with that, and I wasn't blogging at the time, but I was doing a lot of Facebook posts. Instagram wasn't even like, I don't even know if it was around then.
Barely, it had just started.
Yeah. And so I was just on Facebook. I created a page, and I just started putting myself out there, not only about my doula business, but also kind of different tactics I was using with potty training Mackenzie, and how I was dealing with feeling tired as a new mom, and what products I was using to make myself feel better. And, just like all of the things that I really, when I was pregnant with Mackenzie, I loved reading blogs. They meant so much to me because I would rather hear from another mom about her experience.
Mm-hmm.
But my only problem with that was I had to go to so many blogs to find all of the things that I wanted to bring it all to one place. And I've had a lot of business coaches kind of tell me, you're trying to do too much. You're covering too many topics. And as much as I've wanted to take that advice in and maybe say, okay, am I growing slower because I'm trying to cover too many areas? Yeah, maybe. But I will never let go of the one-stop shop. I just will. It is why I created it. And so I can't turn my back on it. And so, yes, we cover a lot of things, pregnancy and birth, but we also cover relationships, marriage, toddler life, school aged. Like, I try and cover all of the things so that people really feel like they're taken care of at How to Mom through every stage of parenthood.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So How to Mom is a directory and resource for all things motherhood, basically. You have a blog, you have services you offer, there's events, just not in 2020, but there's events that you put out. You have partnerships. I mean, all the things, clearly, because you and I have been on this journey together for a couple of years now. But how cool to have a hub for all of it. And it's a little bit more intimate than like a large, like national or global scale. I mean, do you have a strong Minnesota base, or do you guys do outside of Minnesota, Twin Cities also?
Yeah, so mainly Minnesota based for sure, especially obviously for clientele for doula care. However, because 2020 has stretched us all and made business grow online, we've only been reaching more moms outside of Minnesota because now we offer, which it's kind of funny, we were offering other services kind of on a virtual platform even before COVID, but obviously now that's really ramped up. And so we have individuals that come to us from out of state, but no, definitely a large percentage it's Minnesota Twin City moms.
Well, and I think that's perfect. It's so, I mean, Minnesota, of all the states that I'm probably familiar with friends that talk about their states, Minnesota is so proud of their local resources and local businesses, mom owned, women owned. Cheers to us. So
Yeah.
How to Mom came about. You have the services. You have more children than just Mackenzie. So how did your world get shaken up another time or two after you
Humbled.
started the business?
Yeah, so it was about, I would say, a year and a half of just being able to be home with Mackenzie, really enjoy her, work as a doula, do a lot of marketing on Facebook, and then kind of the wellness side of things. So helping families feel better and feel better about what they're bringing into their home and things like that. So that was my life for maybe even 2 years. I'm trying to think time frame, about a year and a half to 2 years. And so we were in a good place. We felt like, we kind of were in this new flow of life with our careers and where we were at. And my husband and I decided that we wanted to try for another baby. We had been trying. I guess we never stopped trying. It just, again, it didn't work naturally at home for us. And so we decided to go through treatment again. And going into it the second round, it definitely is still difficult, but there wasn't as much pressure because I knew I had Mackenzie at home. Did that make kind of the emotional journey less hard? No, it just was different. Mm-hmm. It felt different. And so we started going through treatment. And with this round, everything went so smooth. Like, it was with Mackenzie, we had so many bumps in the road, right? Of like, this worked this time, but this didn't work. Or we got to try a different medication, or come back again because you're still not quite there. Like all of these hurdles where it almost felt strange with the twins, like something was going to fall because everything was going so smoothly.
You got pregnant with twins?
So I actually went for my IUI procedure, and I went by myself. I didn't even go with Brian. And I remember the doctor saying, now get pregnant, but don't get too pregnant, because I had quite a few eggs that were looking wonderful.
Okay.
And it was weird. So with Mackenzie, I wasn't sure until it was confirmed that I was pregnant. But with the twins, I went in that morning for my IUI, and that night I knew I was pregnant.
Wow, really?
I could feel it. I could feel it not only physically, but I could feel it emotionally. I was like, that worked. Like, it was seamless. I couldn't believe how straightforward that treatment went. And we actually had a really unique pregnancy with Mackenzie, obviously through fertility. But after I birthed Mackenzie and my placenta, we found out that my body actually prepared for triplets with her.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I thought I was actually miscarrying Mackenzie at 12 weeks, but turns out that was the other basic. It was my body was shedding what didn't take through treatment. And so my husband, like from the beginning, I think was always a little nervous and hesitant, because he was like, yes, it's hard for us to get pregnant, but once you do, your body like multiplies.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah. And so I just felt different with that pregnancy. I went in for my blood work, and my numbers were off the chart. I'm talking like, I don't even know, 10 times what they were with Mackenzie. And so we had a feeling that something was different with this pregnancy, but we had to, wait several weeks. And I remember my girlfriend calling me the morning we were going in for an ultrasound. And she said, my bestie, we've been friends since high school. And she said, my husband said you're pregnant with twins.
Oh, goodness.
And it's so funny how we react to things, because of course in the moment I was, that's so cool. Like, that sounds so amazing. And like, I was really upbeat and positive about it. But I think because deep down I was like, that's not actually going to happen. And my husband, the whole way to the appointment, which we had Mackenzie with us because we include her in like all of the things.
Oh, I love it.
And the whole drive, he's like, just one healthy baby. I want just one healthy baby, just one healthy baby. And so we get into the ultrasound room, and the tech actually, she wasn't super familiar with the type of ultrasound she was doing for us. And so it was a little awkward and off. And, she's doing the ultrasound, and my husband says, just one healthy baby in there, right? And she said,
he's trying to convince her.
Yeah. She goes, yep, one baby, one healthy baby. And we're like, okay. And then she goes, oh, nope, wait, there's two.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I wish that would have been recorded.
Well, I actually have a recording of Mackenzie telling family members, there's one baby. Oh, nope, there's two babies. Like,
just
she
like
said it.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I just started crying right away. Everything was going through my head of like, how am I going to parent twins? How am I going to carry twins? How am I going to birth twins? How am I going to breastfeed twins? Like all of the things that I probably should have thought about beforehand.
Can't do anything about it.
So I start crying. I look over at Brian, and he was the one who was like hesitant and really just wanted one baby because he's more of a realist. And he knew that like having twins is, you know, a task and it's not always easy. And I look over and he's going, okay, all right, we got this. Yeah. And it's like the way that two people process in the same situation are so different. And he looks at me and he goes, why are you crying? I thought you were excited about this. I said, because I didn't think it was actually going to happen.
Yeah. Well, your brain goes to like motherhood mode, and his brain is probably like, all right, one healthy times two. Like it's
and it is what it is.
Totally different. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Can you like, holy cow, the flood of emotions that came to you within like 30 seconds probably was far beyond like, there's two in there. It was like nursing, birthing, like all of that 9 months down the road, a year down the road stuff. Wow.
Well, and Mackenzie was 3.5. So I think motherhood was so challenging for me and just overwhelming. And I felt like I was maybe getting to a place where I was like, I kind of felt like I knew what I was doing, or I was confident in the way I had, I don't know, transitioned into motherhood. And I just felt like motherhood was such a humbling experience. And here I am feeling like I got this. And then motherhood's like, boom, let me humble you some more.
Let me got this some more for you. It took me a good 3 years to get out of that fog. And I remember it was like, I woke up one day and I'm like, oh, how do people have multiple children in like 3 years? I think I got this now.
I always say like I'm slow to transition, because we waited till Mackenzie was 3.5 as well. But yeah, there's this really funny meme out there. It says, give that cocky one twins. Okay,
well, there you go. Prideful. I got this.
Yeah.
So then, okay. We could talk for days, but I want to talk about like how to mom and how your twin life like incorporated all of it. So let's talk about like the labor and the delivery and your different experience from like the Mackenzie birth.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, you know, having Mackenzie birthed How to Mom, it created the idea, it started the brand. My twins made me push and dig deeper and expand, if that makes sense. And so when I was pregnant with them, I was only able to attend births until I was 20 weeks, because by the time I was 26 weeks pregnant with them, I was like full term.
For another single baby mama.
Yeah, exactly. So I was home a lot more. I wasn't, you know, out attending births. And so it was at that time, and after they were born, while I was home nursing them and home with 2 babies, that I expanded How to Mom. We switched over our website to WordPress, where we could start blogging and really dedicating time into pushing out free content, because I thought not everybody can or wants to hire a doula. That doesn't mean they don't deserve the support and the education. So how can I get that to more people? Outside of like individual clientele. And so started a blog that created the agency, because I'm only one person. I can only be at one birth at a time. So how can I have How to Mom helping more families? Well, we needed to bring more birth professionals to How to Mom. And so, yeah, it was kind of like through the twins experience, even though I think part of me, I struggled with, do I just, you know, set How to Mom to the side for a little while, because this is all a lot and very overwhelming. But I also really strongly feel that How to Mom helps me remain Stephanie outside of motherhood, outside of being a wife. It's like my thing.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's balanced. It's balanced that even in the moments where it's stressful, it's balanced it. And so, so I carried the twins through 37 weeks. I remember waking up at 26 weeks. I probably not waking up because I wasn't sleeping. And I said to my husband in a moment, I actually really love being pregnant. I'm one of those moms that I enjoy being pregnant because of my hormone issues. I actually feel my best when I'm pregnant or nursing. So that wasn't a struggle for me. But at 26 weeks, when I was feeling full term and I had, two 3-pound babies in my belly, so, a full term baby, essentially, I said, I don't think I can do this for another 12 weeks, honey. Like, I am really sore. I'm not sleeping. Like, how am I going to do this? And he was so great. I will never forget. He looked at me and he said, let's break it down. You just have to make it through the end of this week. Every week we just make it to the end of the week, and then we're another week there.
Oh,
And it just really,
him.
I know he really helps me because I can get a little out of hand. So he helps kind of bring me back to life.
I can get a little out of hand.
And so I kept saying, I just want to be able to bring my babies home. Birthing any baby is difficult. Not being able to bring your baby home, I can't imagine. And so I just kept saying, I just want to be able to bring them home with us.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal was to make it to 36 weeks. I wanted to make it to 36 weeks. I wanted them to be at least 5 pounds, if not a little bit bigger. But I'm 5'1", and so I don't have a lot of room for 2 babies. But this just reiterated how incredible women are and our bodies. And my body did such a great job growing these babies that they didn't want to come out. They were like cozy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they were born, I think it was 37 and 4 days and 37 and 5 days because my son was twin A, and so his birth was first. We, of course, had a wonderful doula with us, Christina, who's a dear friend. Again, everybody asks me as a doula, did you hire a doula? And I'm like, heck yeah, I'm not going to doula myself through my births.
Yeah.
And I was really striving for an unmedicated birth because with Mackenzie, I had a very empowering, beautiful experience. But I chose to get an epidural, and I wanted to be able to feel everything, not only because it was something I desired, but as a doula, I really wanted to be able to know what my clients were going through at every stage of labor and what they were feeling. And so my son, his birth was pretty straightforward. My active labor was 6 hours long, which compared to Mackenzie's like 14 plus hour long labor.
He was ready to get out though at that point.
It was very manageable. Like, it seemed manageable. And so he was very straightforward. He was born via vaginally in the OR because you are considered high risk with twins, and there could, be an emergency at any moment. So they have you kind of equipped for that. He was born, he was put on my chest. He was perfect. He was amazing. He reminded me so much of Mackenzie, just like the same body type and just everything about him. But I will say he was wired differently. Like, I could tell he had all kinds of energy.
At little size, he was ready to rock your world.
Yeah. And so his birth was very straightforward. Brynlee, twin B, she was breech. So just how they were positioned. But a lot of times with twins, they can turn twin B to be head down after twin A is out. But she was my little ball of joy, and she was really high. And so she didn't labor down with Deacon, whereas most twins kind of follow. And so right after you birth your first twin, usually you're ready to push. That wasn't the case for her. She was not. And so she was a little bit more of a challenge, and we did all of the things, and my doctor was amazing, and my mom was there, and my husband and my doula, and everybody was so encouraging. I remember at one point sitting up to push, and there was a wall of healthcare workers, and they were like, you got this, you're so strong, do it, you got it, you got it. And I just, I wasn't at a point where I was supposed to be pushing because she wasn't ready. And so my doctor gave us 3.5 hours in between to try and have her vaginally. And she just was a lot bigger than we had kind of expected, but also she just struggled with her positioning, and I couldn't quite get into a great position myself to help her move. And so after midnight, which is why she has her own birthday, her heart rate was struggling, and so a C-section was called. And because I didn't have an epidural, I had to get put under general anesthesia.
Oh my gosh, you have three separate like birthing experiences, half of that with your twins. You have like almost all, except for a water birth, of all the options available to moms to like literally share.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was pretty incredible. And it took a while to kind of process, right? We need to give ourselves time to process our births. But I sat down with my doctor afterwards, and I truly do believe like it was a way for me to experience so that I can better serve and better help more women. And for that, I'm thankful. And of course,
Oh, wow.
I got to have kind of all different experiences, but I woke up a couple hours later and I knew at the time that Deacon was 6 pounds, 9 ounces, which I was like, that's awesome. 6 pounds, like, that's great. That's what I wanted. I woke up, I said, is my daughter okay? The nurse said, yes, she's perfect and healthy. And I said, how much does she weigh? And she said, 7 pounds, 10 ounces.
Oh
And I
my
said,
goodness.
shut the front door.
She's so much bigger than you would have fathomed. Oh, what a force.
Yes.
Wow. Look at what your body did. That's amazing.
Isn't that incredible? Yep. We're reminded every day of like what we can do as women. It's pretty remarkable.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So like that's like a drop the mic end of the story right there, but it's not end of the story. There's like dot dot dot. So I want to just like hone it back to like the how-to mom, because this your birthing experiences and your, you know, the conception and the pregnancies and the labor and the delivery, all very different, and where you are mentally, and the whole I got this, and then the what is going on, just the range of emotions that you experienced completely sets you up, even more than you would have expected with your clients. So let's talk about how people can get a hold of you, and what,
Mhm.
like high level, like what to expect when someone becomes a How To Mom client.
Yeah, no, I'd love to talk about that. So I always encourage everybody to check out our website. And again, the reason why, even if you are not currently pregnant or if you don't foresee yourself hiring a doula, there is a ton of information on our website, not only within our blog, kind of outlining things for pregnancy and birth, but also for motherhood. We also have a shop page, which gives tools like birth plan templates, birth affirmation cards, motherhood affirmation cards, which have been so important this year of 2020. We also have a resource directory, which I am so proud of, and it is more centered around Twin City families because it's professionals within the birth and motherhood world that we personally know these individuals. We know these businesses. We know how they work. We know how they treat their patients or clients. And so we want clients and community members to know when they come to How To Mom, even if we can't help them in the specific area they are in need, or we aren't the experts, that we know somebody who can help them personally. And so it's just this really, really valuable resource because it's not a Google search. It is truly an intimate referral. And so I'm super proud of the resource directory. I'm proud of the store because I really wanted to think of, as a consumer, what was important to me as an expecting mom, as a birthing family, as other, what people I feel like were important. And so we brought those to the shop page. Again, the events, just getting together one day, hopefully again soon, feeling like you have a squad around you that is going to uplift you and help you through the challenging and the fun and the amazing and the hard motherhood journey. And so, yeah, we truly want something for everybody. But then to take it a step further, if you are looking for motherhood coaching, if you're looking for birth services, whether that's to encapsulate your placenta or lactation help or birth doula services, whether it's virtual or in person, like we have tried to create all of these really customizable packages so that every family, regardless of their situation, regardless of their family dynamics, that they feel like the support is out there and available.
Amazing. Howtomom.com. chat with Stephanie. You have a great crew. Like you said, those resources. Oh my goodness. And you're on all the socials. You're on the Facebook and you're on the Facebook. You're on Facebook. You're on Instagram. Where else? Anything I'm missing?
Yes. We're also on LinkedIn and we are on Pinterest. Pinterest is huge for our blogging content to kind of find those blogs that are important to you individually, whatever you're looking for. Twitter, but I would definitely say we're most active on Instagram and then Facebook for sure.
Amazing. There's no shortage of how anyone can get a hold of you. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story, because honestly, I think when people feel like they understand the face behind the brand a little bit more, especially with the range of experiences that you've had and your industry, it can only help relate and, take people off that crazy hormonal edge that we call pregnancy and labor and delivery, and even into motherhood. So you're a Wonder Woman. I value you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Those of you who are watching this, make sure you follow How To Mom and Stephanie. We're not quite done yet, though, because I have just like a fun little game we're going to play.
Okay, let's do it.
Usually I'll do like a HitaTalk trivia and I'll try to stump you. However, I'm going to do like a fun little speed round. So you have like 0.05 seconds to think of your answer.
Okay.
There's no wrong answer, but sometimes I interject, which that's not okay. All right. So Saturday night, and you are going to choose one thing to eat today, but that's the only thing you're going to eat forever and ever and ever. Is it spaghetti or is it pizza?
Spaghetti.
Okay. And then Sunday comes and you're still going to eat something, but you have the one option to change your mind. Is it going to be spaghetti or tacos?
Ooh, tacos. I want to change it up.
I mean, that is kind of like the right answer, but Italians love their spaghetti. So, for all the Italians out there, it's okay. You can put your spaghetti in the tacos. There's no rules. What is your go-to like glam item, lipstick or mascara?
Probably mascara.
Yeah. Coffee or wine?
Both.
You have to pick one. That's such an unfair question.
Coffee in the morning, wine at night.
I mean, that's how it's done, right?
But if I had to choose, probably coffee.
Oh, yeah. There's also wine-flavored coffee. I was talking to somebody about this recently. I've never tried that, but who hasn't created the coolest things out there? Moms need vacation. So are you going to take a vacation to go to a beach or to Vegas?
Oh, see, this is challenging because I would always say beach for sure. My husband loves Vegas, and Vegas is one of those things where you can kind of get there quickly and inexpensively. So we go to Vegas a lot.
Vegas, and they have shows and pools and all sorts and spas and all sorts. Okay,
you get it all.
If you were to go to any destination in the world, like teleport, all expenses paid, where would you go?
Hands down, back to Costa Rica.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Costa Rica was on our list. We were going to go. I was mapping out like a 6-7 day adventure, and then we found out we were pregnant, which was such an unexpected blessing. So we have yet to go to Costa Rica.
It's an amazing country. The people there are one of the best. I mean, they are so uplifting and kind. And also you get to see so many things in a smaller area. Like you get the rainforest, you get the ocean, it's an amazing place.
Okay. So maybe we'll just all do a giant mom retreat in Costa Rica, which I know of. Actually, my nutrition coach does that. She does a Costa Rica retreat. So, oh my gosh. Anyhow, that's all I have. Thank you, my lovely, lovely friend. It's such a joy always chatting with you. I feel like I am invested like way more into your world because I didn't know some of these details, and it's very personal. So thank you for sharing that with me and all those watching. So for those of you, subscribe to HitaTalk right here on YouTube, and make sure you follow How To Mom and Stephanie and all that she does. All right, girl. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.